Hi, this is Kelly Busby, and I'm going to talk about chart reviews right now. The chart review, or retrospective or prospective research papers. The retrospective paper is a chart review of charts in the past, a simple recording of information found on the chart that wasn't placed there for research purposes. The case study format we discussed earlier, you studied earlier, is a form of chart review. Other forms include case series and case control studies. Now, the advantages to chart reviews is that of a retrospective is it can be used as a pilot study for a prospective chart review. Now, a prospective chart review is going to be done in real time, but before you do this real time, you sometimes need to go into the older charts to explore your clinical question to see what types of information is available to be able to use for the research. So that would be an advantage to doing a retrospective before your prospective. A retrospective study before the prospective helps refine the hypothesis, which, as you know, is your educated guess about what direction your research is going to move. Obviously, you may have to review the current literature and get ideas from that, but a quick peek at the chart of the patient with this disease or treatment might bring up aspects of the situation that the research papers you read hadn't considered. In a retrospective study, after reviewing the current literature and writing up the introduction with a purpose and hypothesis, the researchers will create a protocol in which they will describe where the data will be found, what data is needed, how the data will be collected, and how to be analyzed. Once a protocol is described, because chart reviews are clinical research, the IRB will be notified. So the researchers will wait for permission to proceed. Of course, you know what the IRB is. That's the Internal Review Board. You got that information out of your National Institute of Health course. Case series. A case series is a report of multiple similar, unusual, or instructive cases. It's basically a group of connected case studies which share an illness or a therapy. Disadvantages of case series is that, as any retrospective, it depends on the availability and accuracy of the medical records. If they didn't collect the information, since they're not collecting the information, they're having to trust that someone that collected the information did it correctly. Second, a case study is subject to selection bias because the investigator self-selects his cases, in which case he's going to be picking people that are likely to have this issue that he wants to see. Third, a case series is uncontrolled. Now, a case control study, this is one with a control. Case control studies are generally designed to estimate the odds ratio of developing a studied condition or disease. In this type of retrospective study, the outcomes measured before exposure to the variable you're studying, and the control is selected on the basis of not having the outcome. Now, prospective study is a type of chart review in which the researcher watches for outcomes such as development of disease during the study period, which is usually a long period of time, sometimes years, and relates this to other factors such as suspected risks or protection factors. Prospective studies usually have fewer potential sources of bias and confounding than retrospective studies.